to spec at this sometime in the next month or two.
What the F, dude? That's my spec. Yeah.
Maybe Adam wants to spec on it as well. Plays like Adam. No one slays like Adam. No one's dex as incredibly thick as Adam. For there's no man in town quite as manly. That's all I wrote down to sing.
So ridiculous. I literally was singing this song beforehand, and there's a backstory to this because we had the bachelor party this weekend, and one of the things we had to do was juggle eggs while singing the Gaston song from Beauty and the Beast. And so I was just making fun of myself because I was the first one to go.
It's been stuck in our head.
And I didn't know the song because I couldn't remember it, and I wasn't allowed to look it up.
So you're just saying manly things while juggling.
Hey, he's a hairy man, and he's a beast, and
it was awful.
But
when you
I was
sung
just
it,
singing it a second ago.
That's why I was giggling before we started recording. Also, we had to afterwards eat a raw egg.
Oh yeah, that was
that was great.
I should almost post the videos of us doing it.
Man, I didn't get sick. Nobody got sick off of the egg.
No, take that back.
Grant got sick from the milk and a hot coffee type thing.
Grant is Lowry's brother, and he took it down, and we did a lot this weekend. Ninja Warrior, and so we got
kayak
the Ninja
for
Warrior.
like 3 hours. The escape room was really fun. So if you ever have an opportunity to do that, I'd say check it out.
Yeah.
It was a big long Saturday.
We'll talk about it here in a second. Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths. I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
We don't forget this time. It's funny because we get done with the episode, and as soon as I click end or pause or whatever.
We didn't say that, did we?
Yeah, I was like, shit.
Yeah. This is going to be episode 70.
Episode 70. What do we got going today? We have quite a bit, actually, on the docket.
So we're recording a day late, so we're going to talk about the legendary creatures that have come out so far from Corset 2020.
So we just got
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Just Modern Horizons
literally came out 3 days
weekend.
ago.
And
officially.
Then we had spoilers. Well, we had spoilers before it even came out, didn't we? Yeah.
There's 3 Chandras at Uncommon, Rare, and Mythic.
So they're keeping up with that. We talked about that in War of the Spark. We're like, do we think they're going to keep doing that? It'd be cool if they did. And we both kind of agreed. We're like, this is probably just for War of the Spark. And I guess at this point, Chandra's the only one that's going to be doing that. Yeah. But it's cool. I like that they keep doing it.
We'll see.
And then we're also going to do... I know we did top 10 last week, but I feel like we were too late because of...
With War of the Spark.
How fast these sets are coming out. Like, we're already into Modern Horizons.
So we're going to do Modern Horizons top 10 commander cards. Boom. Yep, we're going to get it out on time.
And then Off-Color Wraths is kind of... We finished with our specs and everything.
Yep. Well, let's do that.
And then one kind of thing... Well, actually, can kind of get into our other stuff. You guys can follow us, go to YouTube, and check out our videos. One video that we talked about last week still hasn't got up because we just got busy with the bachelor party this weekend.
So you still have a little bit of time to go onto Twitter, vote, and guess who won.
I'll tell you this.
War.
The people that have voted so far aren't right.
I would say that is correct.
So, vote again. Now you're getting to vote again. I'm giving you that little hint really quick. If you get this, you'll have probably till midweek because I'm going to try to get that. I'm 3/4 of the way done with it. I have to do the ending and then it's ready to go. Yeah. So,
and then, so we're doing, stuff on Twitter, stuff on YouTube. We'll get that video out shortly, hopefully this week.
Proxies of the week. Beer Lowry doesn't share with me. Last week's proxy of the week was the flag one. What is that one?
Conqueror's Flare?
Yeah.
Flail?
No, it's not a flail.
No, it's not.
It's a conqueror of some sort.
Yeah, you made it.
I know. I don't look at the name. I just
look at the art. It's pretty, full art.
It's the
it gives +1/+1 to a creature type. Whenever you cast one of that creature type, you draw a card.
So that's a pretty sweet one. And actually, I had fun designing that one too. But then, what was the beer? You had
my beer was Still Knocked, which is a Belgian ale.
Is that the one that I got to steal?
You did.
From? Yes.
Yeah, he snagged it from me. And I had aged that one for about 8 years, and it was really good.
That was pretty tasty, the little sip I got.
Really good.
Yeah, that was with I opened 12, Larry helped me open 12 Modern Horizon boxes.
Yeah.
And selling them right now. I've already sold my Urzas, except for Larry pulled in one of the packs.
A foil Urza.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good about that, and then it felt real bad when I had to give it up.
But it's kind of interesting. We had a system down. We had a box of crap, and we had the box of tokens. And then the good rares and bad rares and foils and all that. And we got it, it was an hour
a little over an hour to get through 12 boxes together. Because we're fucking team.
Yeah, but that one we did not record because it was just like, we just got to burn through this, and we had the bachelor party. So it was a day-long bachelor party.
Which is good.
No, it was good. It was just...
Yeah.
I was tired yesterday.
I was really tired. I stayed up until 5:30. I don't know, because I don't get to talk to people very often.
I went to bed at 4, just being like, I don't want to see the sun coming up.
You were literally like sleeping in the chair.
Yeah, I was tired.
Yeah. But and I was quite drunk as well.
So your Father's Day went great, huh?
Yeah, I was sleeping underneath the playground where my son was playing.
You're pretending to watch. You're like,
no, I wasn't pretending.
You were just sleeping.
Just sleeping. Nice. I looked like a bum. They left. I stayed there. Other children came by, and then I was like, I should probably move. I look weird now. Yeah, I went and slept on another part of the playground where my son was.
You just slept yesterday.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
really bright. I was like, no. Hat over my eyes. And
yeah, we did. I didn't, because we did a lot of driving yesterday after waking up late and all that crap. We didn't really do Father's Day stuff. We mainly did that today because Cindy had off.
Nice.
The cool thing is Drake has just learned how to ride a bike without...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
So we were like, wait, that was kind of the Father's Day thing. I was like, I just want to go rollerblading and have you guys bike and everything. We went down a bike trail. It wasn't really rollerblading because we would stop every 100 feet. I'm tired. I need a break. And we went like 3 miles or whatever.
That's what kids are.
But he had a Strider bike, which is, you know what those are?
Probably no pedals?
No pedals.
Yeah, we have one for Lowry.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we were watching him. We're like, damn, he actually is going a long time without putting his feet down. So when we got back to Cindy's parents' place, and they had my nephew's bike he's too big for now, with just pedals, put Drake on that. I went in to go take a shower, came out, and Cindy had him pedaling down the driveway.
She didn't even wait for you?
Yeah, I know.
Adam's gone. Get on the bike.
What a dick.
Want him to miss this moment. I can rub it in his face for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
She is going to do that. No, she came running in, and she's like, are you done yet? He's biking. I was like, what? So, yeah, that was pretty crazy. At 4 years old, biking down the driveway. But he was so tired today that every time he stopped and it fell over, he'd get pissed and he'd start crying and he kicked the bike like it was the bike's fault. I was like, all right, temper boy.
He needs a nap.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was my weekend in a nutshell. Our weekend. It was a lot of fun.
For sure. Bachelor parties are fun.
Yeah.
Be
especially
safe.
when you're doing a lot of different things. You know. So, I see a beer that's sitting over there that I kind of want to taste of.
All right, you can read it.
It's from Nebraska. Crop duster. Oh, this fits into the weekend too. So, Lowry, going into the weekend, we found out when we met up with our cousin Jake. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm going to taste this first. It's better than last week's beer. I'll give it that.
It's okay.
So, Lowry is, we're about to, Jake's like, you guys have to juggle and sing this song and then eat the egg. Well, Lowry starts pre-egg farting before he ever had the egg.
I was egg farting before we were told to eat that we had to eat the raw egg because I was doing it on the car.
You were doing
after
it on the car, but it wasn't
room.
as bad as it was once you got it.
Well, that was because I felt really bad because I'm on the other side of the room. I was like, "Hey, where's the bathroom?" And
he walks all
he's like, "It's all the way over there." And then I was like, "It slipped." It slipped out. And then I was like, well, I might as well let it all go and just crop dusted them.
You're terrible. Well, a little bit came out.
It's going to be bad.
It was
a bunch of guys.
But then you had an egg later, and then your farts weren't egg smelling.
It was after I went poop, and it all came out. It was good.
What was the food that would make it go egg? You predicted that your shit was going to be bad that day. I don't remember why though. Was it the beer we had the night before opening the boxes?
I had made some refried made the refried beans and then had burritos, and that was fulfilling.
Disgusting. All right, let's actually get into.
We have a Patreon.
Oh, we have a new one?
No, but we have a Patreon.
Oh, okay. I was like,
we're just plugging our stuff. We were talking about.
Yeah, I guess we didn't get to the email.
We can be really quick. You can email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. If you have any ideas, you can also tweet ideas at us because we'll take them.
Email us too, song ideas and all that. The Patreon stuff we mentioned last week. You can get. This month and last month, we just started doing that.
For Proxies.
And then, we are going to have some sort of giveaway coming up at some point. We're kind of working the details out.
There's also the YouTube giveaway, which is if you want to politely put in Garuk's Dong.
That is correct. Garuk's Dong, or you can do Meat Force, but we want a Garuk's Dong.
I don't want to be spammed emails of just Garuk's Dong.
Yeah, has to be on the YouTube.
Yeah, on the YouTubes.
So let's move into the next section. Our first topic, we're going to talk about the spoilers, right? Or do you want?
Yeah, the spoilers. There's a couple of legendary creatures that have come out. We don't want to talk about everything because it's only been a day.
Yeah, we're going to kind of do an episode for that, but we do want to make reference that there are spoilers coming out already. So there's 3 commanders, generals that are in this, and there aren't really any. There's good cards in this. If there's something that jumps out like Smothering Tithe, good, then we will mention it. But now we just have the 3 commanders. So do you want to start on the first one, or do you want me to start? Okay. So let's see if I can pronounce this. Kher Wind's Fury. Did I say it right?
Good enough for me.
Kher. So it's 1 blue, red, and white for a 3/3 bird wizard. This
bird wizard,
freaking sweet. It's
legendary
flying.
Creature.
Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can sacrifice a spirit to add 1 red. So
this is creating your Meat Force for you in Jeskai colors, which is going like relatively spell heavy.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
What?
Like, okay, so right now, I don't have the notes in front of me right now, but somebody on Twitter mentioned to bring up Jank Tribal list, and I was going to have spirits on there, and this is kind of spirits because it's making spirits and you're sacking spirits.
So it's kind of like Talran for Drakes. Is that Talran? What's his name?
Talran, the Sky Summoner, is for Drakes, yeah. Like, for me, I'd want it to be still a spirit, and I'd also want it to be black instead of red, because I would prefer Esper spirits. So I wouldn't consider this necessarily a spirit general. I wouldn't put probably like a ton of spirits, because red just doesn't have that many powerful ones.
Yeah. I agree.
You'll end up having
you
more
need the black in there for spirits.
So, but I think this is going to be a great Spellslinger spirit.
For sure.
Commander, not spirit.
Yeah, because it's not a spirit at all.
I'm reading that one.
Okay.
Rianne, Angel of Rebirth. It's going to be 2 colorless, a red, a green, and a white for a 5/4 flyer. Legendary creature, Angel. This one's going to be a mythic. Other multicolored creatures you control get +1/+0, and whenever another multicolored creature you control dies, return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step.
That's pretty sweet.
I love this card.
Yeah.
I have a place to put Dragon Arch, finally.
Oh, yeah?
Because that's, you tap the artifact, and you get to put a multicolored creature into play for free.
I'm trying to picture the colors here. So Angel Commander, you're going to use your whites. Red and green.
Well, you want it to be multicolored creatures, so you probably just go
be
multicolored
creatures.
Obviously. But like, okay, think about this. Like, what if you spam like multicolored creatures? So like Xenagos, the Planeswalker, creates 2/2 red and green token creatures, not centaurs, but satyrs. And like, if you're able to like create,
they won't get the benefit of dying, but.
Correct, but they would get the +1/+0.
Yeah, so
and then, having the dying.
I feel like the
multicolored, like Kasali Pride Mage would be cool with this, because you could sacrifice, destroy an artifact or enchantment, bring it back into your hand.
That's where I think this part is better. It's not the 1/0 part we're really focused on. That's kind of like
that does make sense. Bringing it back to your hand, that's like card advantage.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could do with this. There's so many angles of that. This can be kind of a fun guy. Fun guy. No, he's going to be an angel, not a fun
pee
guy.
on this one.
Oh, is that your...
Maybe.
Maybe. You can't do that. You can't pee on it.
I'm a sprayer, not a sayer.
We haven't done the pee on stuff.
It has been a while.
Our spotlight, if you guys don't know from our beginning episodes, was originally our peed on commanders. So that's Lowry's pissing on this one.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, man, why do I have to say this one? Let's see.
A Temesis.
Thank you. All seeing.
A Temesis.
Is it our Sphinx commander?
3
and 3 blue, 4/5 flying Sphinx, legendary creature. Tap 2 and a blue, draw 2 cards and discard a card. Whenever this deals damage to an opponent, does not have to attack, it can just deal damage. You may reveal a card from your hand if cards with at least 6 different converted mana costs are revealed this way, that player loses the game. So if you're able to actually get this to deal damage to multiple people and you have different converted mana costs in your hand, then you can just peg out everybody at once.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, how are you going to be dealing that damage to everybody?
Oh, an equipment or something that spreads it around. I don't know. What would we do here?
I don't know. But I mean, like, the cool thing is that it enables himself because he's drawing 2 cards to discard a card.
So you're gaining cards into your hand.
Yeah, you're getting that card advantage, and then you're able to sculpt your hand that way.
I'm not going to pee on this guy, but it seems like an interesting...
It seems like a lot of work, but it is that player loses the game tag. So that could be powerful.
My question, and this is me asking Judge Lowry here, can you reveal, like, a land counts as a 0, right?
I would say land counts as 0.
That's my thought, because it doesn't say it needs to have casting costs. It just says converted, like, 6 different converted mana costs. So that would be a 0 cost.
Yeah,
right?
that's how I would see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but 6 of it. You need to have a mitt full of cards in your hand with 6 different ones.
I could totally see this being really good in, like, Azami Lady of Scrolls, where you're tapping... Like you're drawing a ton of cards, or something that fills up your hands, like maybe a Niv Mizzet Perun deck where you're just drawing
where
a shit
this is
ton
the
of
99
cards.
instead of the commander itself.
Like this as a commander itself is probably like way too slow
and hard to do that. That would be really difficult.
You still just have to be drawing a ton of cards, just so that you can sculpt it, and then you have to deal that damage. Again, I don't know how.
It could be a Lab Maniac type of thing, where you're getting all the cards into your hand somehow, anyways, and an alternate win is a Lab Maniac or the new Jace. Yeah, in there.
It could be
because it's just blue there, so you can just be a total blue deck.
I like the card as it's designed; it's really cool, but it's probably just a little underpowered. And I can totally see this killing me. So, just like random.
Time to build it.
Yeah, not for me. You. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the 3 legendaries that we want to talk about. There's some really sweet cards in this. We'll definitely do a set review later.
If you can't tell, we really like a ton of cards all the time. So
cards. Trombley yelled at us this week. He's like, "Stop telling me good cards. I just got done of all the lists that I had from before, and now you have
adding more cards."
Yeah. Well, guess what, Trombley? We're moving into our top 10 Modern Horizon cards you guys should all buy.
Damn, that's a segue right there.
I'm like a professional, but I'm not.
I mean, you used to be kind of trained.
Yeah,
man.
Radio doing the weather.
Okay, so top 10 Modern Horizon cards.
No particular order in this.
Also, we are leaving the legendary creatures off as always, because if you like them, you're going to build with them. And then the other thing, like, there was a lot of good cards here. We started out with like almost 30, and then we the thing that we focused on is cards that are going to be able to go in multiple different types of decks. So
there was a lot of slivers we're not going to have on this list, because slivers
they go in slivers. Like if it just goes in vampire deck, it's not on those lists.
So there was a good vampire. There's a good zombie that you're drawing cards. There's couple ninjas, one ninja in particular, the uncommon
but
one.
Those are all off because they're too niche.
Yeah.
They're just too focused. They're only going to go in pretty much one style of deck. These ones we're trying to put into a bunch of decks.
So I kind of want to start with this one as our
sure.
the beginning one. We've talked about this one, and it's kind of high priced, but this is, I think, only going to go up. Prismatic Vista.
Yep.
It's pay 1 life, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle your library. So it's your basic land fetch, and it doesn't come and play tapped, which is awesome. This is going to go in any multicolor commander deck.
I mean,
a must-have.
Even if you need shuffle effects in your monocolor decks, it's not that bad.
Because you're getting a basic and kind of filtering out your deck a little bit.
I put, you can put Ash Barrens that cycles for a basic land. I already use Terramorphic Expanse and the other one that's very similar to it that gets most of the reprints.
Yeah.
So I already use
Evolving
those
Wilds.
to put. Yeah, Evolving Wilds. They come into play tapped. This is just better.
Now,
It's expensive and a rare, so I'm glad I got one in my box. I don't plan on buying 100 of them. I plan on proxying them.
Yeah, definitely. I think this will come down a little bit, but then I think it's going to pop right. It's eventually going to be a $30+ card.
My hope would be sure you got it as a rare, but man, I would love this if you just printed this in every commander set from now on.
Oh, they wouldn't do that if it was on this right here.
Yeah, I know, but
yes,
I mean,
it would have been
that's
awesome.
something that it should have been.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do something, a basic land type of whatever commander you control. And then you just change it to that, make it a common.
Then that would work for Commander Perfect, because it'd be just
then it doesn't go into
Yeah.
Legacy or Modern or whatever.
Anything.
So that would be my hope, because basic land fetching untapped is nice.
And even in that, you could probably lose the pay 1 life then.
Potentially. I mean,
if you're making
way.
its downside commander specific, it's going off your commander card. But we're just making up cards. Why don't we talk about cards that just came out in our top 10 list? Why don't you talk about the next one?
So the next one's going to be Force of Vigor, which is the green spell of... it's 2 colorless, 2 green. It's an instant. And then it can destroy 2 target artifacts and or enchantments, any mixture of there. And if it's your opponent's turn, you can exile a green card from your library to play that card for Force of Vigor for free.
Yeah, so it's just great removal potentially for free, that if you're in a pinch and you can't pay the 4, which 4 isn't that much for destroying 2 things.
Yeah, for
just
2
if
things.
that's what its ability was, it would still be up there in the list, don't you think? I mean,
it'd be a little overcosted at that
10,
point,
but it would still be on our list.
Yeah, it'd still be semi-playable. But having it be instant speed is pretty nice to hit too. And then just being able to be I'm going to tap out and still be able to get somebody's really, if they play Mirari's Wake and they're about to just go ham.
Win the game.
Well, they might still be able to if they have a ton of land opened up. But
that
you kind of want to get that before it's your turn either way.
And really, a lot of these forces were really good in this. And I mentioned that when we talked about this set in general, that adding this to the mix now puts a different threat on the table where, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but seeing somebody tapped out, now it's not necessarily they can't do anything. Now there is this, there's cards out there. I mean, you had Force of Will before.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna find better examples than Mirari's Wake. How about a Chroma's Memorial?
There.
They slam that and they're able to just attack with their gang. Then you're before they attack, you just destroy it. And
now I kill all your stuff.
Or if somebody plays Beastmaster Ascension, where if they have 7 creatures and they're I play this, I'm going to attack, they all get +5/+5, then it's no. Before you attack, I'm destroying it. Those are cards that are just kind of nice to be able to go after if you need to.
Yeah, it's probably it's a must-have in all green decks, I would think. Then the next on our list, are actually kind of cheating. We're going to do both the swords. So Sword of Truth and Justice, that's the 2/2 and pro white and blue. When it deals combat damage to a player, gets 1/1 on that creature. Then
on a creature.
Yeah, not on that creature. Then Proliferate. I think when we discussed about Proliferate that one time.
If you paid attention, we don't. But it's working with itself. It's you're able to at least put it on that creature that dealt damage, and then you give it another counter. And if you have it in a Super Friends deck, then they all get pumped. Or if
even at the worst that it's just on that, you're giving it 2 counters. You're pumping something +2.
Yeah,
that's. pretty good, just right there by itself. Yeah. And then the other one was Sword of Sinew and Steel. Sinew? What is? I don't even know what that is.
Sinew? It's like blood.
I'm seeing you.
Obviously.
I see you, baby.
No, I get you.
Shaking that ass. All right, so it's pro black and red. Whenever a equipped creature deals damage to a player, destroy up to one target planeswalker and up to one target artifact. So that's that. You're probably not going to hit the planeswalker too much, but it's nice that that's there. But destroying an artifact is that pretty sweet.
You can destroy any artifact on the table and any planeswalker on the table.
It doesn't have to be that person, so you can hit the easy person and then destroy what you want to destroy. Yeah,
and so you're able to spread it around and piss everybody off. Yeah, might as well.
Gonna kill you. All right, and then next on our list is a friggin' sweet card.
Yeah, we were discussing this last week too, but Giver of Ruins, which is 1 white, it's a 1/2. You can tap it. Another target creature you control gains protection from colorless or from the color of your choice until end of turn. This is just going to be a great utility card in a lot of white decks.
Just another option with Mother of Ruins. I mean, we don't really have to go over it much more because we've kind of broke this one down a lot.
Yeah.
But definitely a must-have with any white deck that you have creatures that you're wanting to protect.
This did make it into my Oketra deck. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
The next one is Sarah the Benevolent, and this is our only planeswalker on here. We liked Red and 6. Now, that would probably be an honorable mention.
There are plenty of cards that didn't make the list that we do really like.
We just had to cut it down to 10, and I at one point was like, should we just cheat and do 20? So this is 2 white. It comes in with 4 loyalty. Its +2 its plus ability is +2. Creatures you control with flying get 1/1 till end of turn. -3 makes a Serra Angel, which if you don't know what a Serra Angel is, 4/4 flying angel with vigilance. -6, you get the emblem. If you control a creature, damage that will reduce your life to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead, so you can't die.
Yeah, I mean, this makes me feel like, and I know that we talked about like not into specific decks, but like it feels like you want to put this into a all flying deck because of that +2, but it comes in with 4 loyalty, and if you just +2 it and it does nothing, the next turn you get the emblem, and that's pretty huge. Like that can fit in a ton of decks.
Isn't it kind of sad? As a kid growing up, Serra Angel was the bee's knees.
So good.
5. And you get a 4/4 angel. This is 4, and you get a 4/4 angel with vigilance. You get a Serra Angel. Like
power creep is real.
It's crazy because that was like not the game winners, but when Serra Angel was out, that was like, holy shit.
But just think if you got that emblem, like you can't deal with emblems. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you're in some sort of like indestructible deck or a recursion deck, you're almost always going to have some kind of creature in there. So like Tajik Blade. That would work in there. You could have a ton of different artifacts that are indestructible.
And then you just have your Giver of Ruins and Mother of Ruins there to protect that creature, and then you're set.
Multiple creatures in play then.
Unless you're poison countered to death. Then you're dead.
Yeah.
All right, and then next on our list is Unsettled Mariner. This is 1 white, 1 blue. It's a changeling, so any creature type. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, that's a kind of keyword with why we kept it on the list too. Yeah. An opponent controls counter that spell unless its controller pays 1. So it's everything, and everything that you have.
It's your any permanent. It is, they have to pay 1. It's spells or abilities they control.
Yeah, so we were discussing, we were like, oh, this could be one we cut, and then we went and reread it, and we're like, oh man,
it's not just creatures.
Because that was the thing. We were like, if it's just creatures, then we can maybe cut this, but it's everything, and then that you're like, abilities jumping on there is a huge plus for that.
Yeah, and so they can't just like target a bunch of your stuff because they just don't have the mana. And if you put this in some style of like taxing deck, like Grand Arbiter, probably wink wink. Yeah, it just makes it even tougher on their mana. Or if you're attacking their mana base in some way, they're just not going to be able to pay the 1.
And it can fit in a tribal deck if you want it, but it doesn't need to be a tribal at all. It just is like, here, we'll throw Changeling on there if you wanted to go tribal. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to do something with the tribal aspect of the Changeling, but it just can go in every white-blue deck.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, then we move into
Winds of Abandon, which is colorless and a white for a sorcery. Exile target creature you don't control. For each creature exiled this way, its controller searches their library for a basic land card. Those players put those cards into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their library. The big part is Overlord. 4 colorless, 2 white, which is exile all of your opponent's creatures. They all get to put basic lands into play tap for that many creatures.
Like, it sounds really bad for Commander, but if you think about this, you're holding on to this late game, and people don't have a lot of cards left in their hand, and you're the only one. Everybody has creatures on the board. Stalemate's going on. Boom, you drop this. Everything's gone. Your board's still there. They get as much land as they want there, with what.
But they come into play tapped.
Yeah, and
you should be able, when
this is on your turn, so you're going through somebody. The biggest threat is dead.
Yeah, you should be playing this to beat or kill somebody, like 1 or 2 people out of 3. This is pretty close to
must have in your whites.
It's not as good as Cyclonic Rift.
No,
but it's one-sided.
It's on the level. Yeah, it's on the level of
and this is 6 mana. It's a one-sided Wrath. If you look at Ingaruk's Wake, which is 9, I believe. These things.
That's foreshadowing.
Maybe, but. One-sided Wraths tend to be really expensive if they're unconditional.
How this becomes a Cyclonic Rift level?
How?
If they just took away giving them any land. It's just exile.
Well, think about that, though. If you want to sit down and put, Grand Arbiter, is that the right one? No. It's a 2/2 line, Grand Leonin.
Yeah.
Leonin Arbiter.
Oh, the
it's a
Commander
2/2.
One?
Well,
where they can only search the top 4 cards of the library?
No, that is...
Wouldn't that
also
work as well?
in there as well. Yeah. So if you have something in there that doesn't allow people to search their libraries, Mindlock Orb, Stranglehold, the new Ashiok.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of options at this point. So if you want to not have them,
if you want to be a dick,
but I mean that's what makes this
for sure
way good.
Yeah, then they're
because you're exiling those indestructible creatures.
2-3 lands they're getting out of that, maybe because they're doing the top whatever, or
but it's
maybe
basic lands, so it's, you're not even guaranteed. You're talking about.
Isn't it Leonin something?
No. That's 2/2. Whenever an opponent or whenever a player searches their library, they have to pay 2 to do it. That's but the one you're talking about is Aven Mind Sensor.
Oh, that's right. They reprinted that in, was it Masters?
Amonkhet.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, this card, but even if you don't have those, I think this is a card that you hold on late game. You get the game win here potentially. You're giving people that's hard to get over. But think of Settle the Wreckage. Settle the Wreckage does some shit.
Yeah, but it's only one player,
and that's the crazy thing is you got killed basically
and a condition of they have to be attacking.
Yeah,
this is just all of your opponents. And it just every
it's
single
2
one
more
of them.
than what Settle the Wreckage, and you don't have to do a condition with it. Yeah. It's just I cast it, you guys lose all your stuff.
I like that voice.
I cast it.
This one seems really good. I almost want to spec at this sometime in the next month or 2.
What the F, dude? That's my spec.
Is it on your spec? You didn't tell me. Yeah. Maybe Adam wants to spec on it as well. This is what happens when you don't pay attention to Adam off air as well.
Oh, I hate you so much. That's my fucking spec. What the hell? I even told you that. I went through it.
Again, I'm not paying attention to you all the time.
Well, you guys are going to hear that in about half an hour of what my spec is for the week.
Yeah, I know you talked about.
Because I even asked you
about those cards.
I was don't you think?
Are you mad if I say those cards?
Yeah, you're a huge dick. We'll just go through our specs right now. Smith specs of the week in the middle of our podcast. I'll put it for the timer. I list when each thing happens, and all of a sudden specs is right in the middle, even though I list it last. I even asked you, I was like, don't you think that could be like a $10 card in the future? And you're like, yeah. So you just thought of getting a general
I thought you were talking
opinion?
about that one. You said you were going to avoid all cards from this list.
Oh, man. All right.
I thought you were going to.
All right. The next on our list, we have a lot of white ones we noticed after we got through this. But another white one is Generous Gift. This is Beast Within, but on a white card, so it's 2 and a white instant. Destroy target permanent, and its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant, which is weird. I know elephants are green, but whatever. They kept the green going. You'd think they make something white. But it's a permanent, so you can kill Chaos Cradle, you can kill.
Yeah, you can get lands. It just covers everything at instant speed for 3. It's really good. Most of these cards do non-land permanents, and this hitting a land if needed, giving white like Armageddon land removal is pretty important, I think. It makes maybe you're not as big of a dickhead
because of Trombley doing Armageddon so much.
No, he had a perfectly good right to do it because it's ending the game. Nobody can attack Kalia. Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right. Next one is a big group of them as well.
The talismans. I'm really big on this. It just adds a lot of just more into the mix. This time are the enemy colors, so the red blue talisman of creativity. They're 2 colorless to come into play. You tap them for a colorless. Or you can choose to do like a blue or a red, pay 1 life, or they deal 1 damage to you. And that's pretty nice. It just gives you more mana rocks to choose from rather than bad ones.
Yeah. Yeah, because 2-drop mana rocks are really good to have because normally they have the downside of coming into play tapped, and these don't. And the fact that it gives you the option, and we only had the 5 before, right? We had the friendlies before, and now we have the enemies.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's the big thing is like the friendly colors like blue black. They have so much better like mana fixing, and this just helps in the other direction of enemy colors just getting better, slowly coming back up.
And then our last on the list, we kind of mentioned this one, I think a couple times, or last week or 2 weeks ago. The Cunning Evasion, which is the 1 blue, 1 colorless enchantment, and then whenever one of your creatures becomes blocked, you may return that to your hand. So it's reconnaissance, but you probably play this more with ETB stuff. I mean, it is focused ninjas. It works perfect with. But even if you aren't playing something, it's saving your creature if it's going to die.
Yeah.
If it's not going to die, then why are you returning it? It's stupid.
And I put this into my Animar Soul of Elements.
Oh, deck. So you already popped it in there?
Yeah, because you're going to be able to attack with whatever you want. If somebody blocks it, return it to your hand. Animar's already there, and you're able to play it for super cheap. Get to enter the battlefield effect, and just kind of move on from there. It feels pretty powerful, and you're just protecting your stuff.
But even take it out of a Animar deck and just put it in a normal deck where you're just attacking and doing stuff it saves your creature from dying, which is always nice. So that is our top 10 list
for Modern Horizons for Commander.
Now we move into our off-color wrath. So we have now the off-color stuff.
This idea is the from Louisiana Leo that.
Louisiana Leo.
He sent us the beer, but he kind of gave us the idea of, so Wraths are Wrath of God. It's known in white. There's a ton of different options in there. And if you don't know how to find a good white Wrath, you haven't been playing long enough, basically.
We just named off one of the better ones now that I think that I'm going to start using probably quite a bit. That was a lot of maybes and probablys, and
you got to test the card. Yeah. Like sitting down and saying that every card is amazing is without any testing. It's
500
a little
cards
blind.
long.
So yeah, but we're going into non-white Wraths.
So
you got it.
You want me to start it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we'll just start with red. We're really going to just talk about one card, and then Lara's going to kind of list off a bunch of cards.
No, we're talking about 2, but...
Well, yeah, okay. It depends on... There's some... Did we get 2 on each? Did we get 2 for green?
Yeah.
All right, so one of the... Red has some unique ones. There's a lot of... Red likes to do... everything.
It does like to hit a lot of stuff.
It likes to kill not just creatures but everything.
The artifacts, the lands, the hands. I meant to rhyme that. Actually, I didn't. I didn't plan that at all.
But Mog Infestation was an interesting one. This card is 3 and 2 red. It's a sorcery. You can destroy all creatures target player controls. For each creature put into the graveyard this way, put 2 goblin token or 2 goblins, basically 2 1/1s into play. So you can actually do this to yourself, which is kind of interesting if you really wanted to. If you're playing a goblin deck where you have a ton of goblins and now you just want to double them,
more goblins,
and you just double it up and you.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking about it, that new Pashlick Mons.
Asslick. It's Asslick Mons. Selikman.
So, but, you would be able to get those triggers off of that as well. You have some things that work with, like goblins coming into play that hopefully aren't creatures because it would destroy them all. But
most likely you're probably going to be using this against somebody and they have things out that they don't want to die, and you're killing it and sacrificing to get 1/1s over
where
there.
I've almost put this in as like my Gahiji Honored one deck. So destroy all of an opponent's like really good creatures, but give them a lot of little shits that when they attack, they can turn into 2/1s or 3/1s. To just add more power onto the board.
So you're killing off their creatures, and you're hoping that they don't attack you.
Yeah, hoping that
a bonus
they
to
attack
other
somebody
people.
else. Yep, and that would
And
never
that will
happen.
not happen.
And that's why it didn't quite make it.
That will definitely
because people
not
are
happen.
really bitter when you kill their
when
creatures.
you kill all their stuff. Hey, but now if you attack that person, you'll get a 3/1. Fuck you.
How about you put this in like a Perforos deck, where Perforos stays around. You create a bunch of creatures coming into play, and you're dealing like 10, 15, 20. It wouldn't be 15 because that's not how math works, but a bunch of damage all at once. So there are definitely some ways where you can abuse Mog Infestation.
What were some other ones we had for red?
So one thing that I want to bring up, like Goblin Assassin seems really cool in Krenko. So Goblin Assassin is whenever a Goblin Assassin comes into play or another Goblin comes into play, each player flips a coin. If it lands tails, they have to sacrifice a creature. So when that comes into play, everybody flips a coin. If it's tails, they sacrifice a creature. Tap Krenko, put 5 goblins into play. Everybody has to flip 5 coins and sacrifice up to 5 creatures, whatever lands tails. It can get really crazy and hard to deal with because it's hard enough to keep up with a Krenko player, but then you're just like losing out on your creatures.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Is if you flip wrong, then you also.
But you just sacrifice the creatures that came into play. You're not sacrificing you're always going to come out ahead with Krenko and Goblin Assassin.
Yeah, I started it with my Zender Split and Okun deck, but then if you read the words, it says. It doesn't mean a win or a lose. It's just tails, so it doesn't affect those cards.
Which is unfortunate. That could have been really fun.
It would have been pretty bonkers with that. There was a couple other red ones.
Another cool one that I want to talk about real quick, and Chandra's Ignition, which is 3 colorless and 2 red, and target creature you control deals damage equals to its power to each other creature and each player or opponent. Why this is kind of cool is it is modular, so you can choose like a smaller creature not to kill your bigger creatures if you want some of them in play. Or if you have like a huge 20/20, that's dealing 20 damage to each opponent and also just wiping the board. Death Touch kills every other creature on board if your creature that you're targeting does. And if it has lifelink, you gain a ton of life off that as
crazy.
well. So there are definitely some cool places where you can put Chandra's Ignition. So I put that in my Lycia deck because I can make it bigger, gain a bunch of life off of it, and kind of go crazy with it. So and it's a big card in Feather as well because you're targeting a creature. So you're able to bring that back to your hand if Feather's in play.
Yeah. So, I think you used that on us that one game.
Yeah. Yep, I did. It worked very well.
Yeah. All right, and then you have a list of other red ones you want to kind of make mention really quick?
So here's the list. Apocalypse, Scourge of Kher Ridges, Devastating Dreams, Breaking Point, Chain Reaction, Pyrohemia, Jokulhaups, Descent of the Dragon, Volcanic Vision, Warp World, Blasphemous Act, Starstorm, Earthquake, Sudden Demise, Molten Disaster, Subterranean Tremors, Magma Quake, Fault Line, Baleful Dragon, Puppet's Verdict, Obliterate, Devastation, Decree of Annihilation.
Yeah, so red has a lot.
Yeah. and there's a lot of different options, a lot of damage-based ones as well. So there are a ton of damage-based options that allow you to modular, like, I don't want to kill all of my creatures, but I want to kill most of them. And that's really helpful.
All right, and then we move into black. The one that we're going to kind of start off the blackness with is Killing Wave, and this is 1 black and X. It's a sorcery for each creature its controller sacrifices it unless he or she pays X life. So you can ramp this up even if you just do like 3 or 4. I mean, they'll save.
It depends on how many creatures are in play too. Like
that'll wipe token decks.
That token deck is not going to keep all their tokens.
Yeah.
They might save their like enablers, but their tokens are going away.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that you're going to be able to pay 15 life to keep a bunch of 1/1s.
Now, black has a lot of... We almost made this list as excluding black and white, because black has some really good removal.
Yeah, it does.
So there's, Ingaruk's Wake.
Which is like 9 that will destroy all opponent's creatures. And that's what we were talking about during the white one of Abandon. Winds of Abandon.
Yep.
Mint
Something like that.
Issues.
Yes.
Abandonment issues.
Then you also have, I don't know if we have it on the list, I just thought of it now, but the one where you choose a creature type and then destroy all other creatures?
Yeah.
Do we
Kindred
have that on
Dominance.
Okay, I was trying to remember.
That's what is a very powerful one. Some other ones that we're going to go through, mention. It's going to be on the list underneath. Archfiend of Ifnir, which gives -1/-1 counters whenever you discard a card. Damnation, Toxic Deluge, Bane of the Living, Black Sun Zenith, Crypt Rats, Pestilence Demon, Pestilence, Archfiend of Depravity, Tetzimoc, Decree of Pain, Deathbringer Regent, Dreaded Cocodemon, Reaver Demon, Torment of Hailfire, which is super awesome.
That's one of my favorites.
Phyrexian Scriptures, Extinction, Crux of Fate, which is the choose a dragons or non-dragons. Like, that seems pretty cool. Consume the Meek, Life's Finale, Deadly Tempest, which deals damage for each creature that was destroyed to that player. Necromantic Selection, Plague Wind, Spreading Plague, Extinguish All Hope.
You could throw Massacre Worm in there. You could throw Massacre Girl in there.
Massacre Girl is probably a better one. I tried to leave off the
minus where it's limited to the amount
and
that
I
you
didn't
kill.
For red. I didn't do like 2 damage to each creature. It wasn't really. It's not really a wrath.
Yeah,
but I was trying to say less
Massacre
words.
Girl could really wipe the board.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate
4-person game going on there that would just kill everything. But yeah, there's so much black. I mean, did you even say Damnation?
Yes, I
okay,
did.
good. It was like you were halfway through the list, and I'm like, I don't know if I heard Damnation. I'm like, that's Wrath right there.
That's
Wrath
right there.
of God.
That was the third one I said.
Yeah. So black has basically the same amount of white, pretty much.
Yeah, that.
There's a lot. More difficult ones was blue and green, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so
Lowry basically he came up with this list, and then I kind of threw in ones where I'd be like, here, add this one and this one and this one. But Lowry did the biggest research on this, and our list is very small when you look at blue and green.
So for blue
doesn't have a lot, but it does have one that's really good that stands out because it actually does different than destroying all creatures, which is kind of what we talk about with wraths, but it exiles. There's a benefit to it, but which card was that we...
So Curse of the Swine, which is X and is blue for sorcery. Then you can exile X target creatures. Every exiled creature becomes a 2/2 boar.
Which is it's sweet because then you can... It's not necessarily a wrath effect where you're killing the whole board, but it's totally one-sided because you're picking out what things you want to kill.
And you're exiling creatures.
Yes. Gets around indestructible.
Yeah. And it can be really kind of powerful when it comes to that kind of thing. It'd be nice if I could get this in my feather deck too.
Oh,
just
so
think
you're
about
targeting
like being able to target one of my creatures or that's already a 2/2 boar, and then just get it back the next turn.
Everything goes back to feather for you. You're just like,
Feather's
I love feathers so much.
So good.
So your list for blue is not that much long, or is not as long as the other two.
It's kind of a lot of more bounce, mass bounce as well. So Lawan is Empress Cephalid, returns all opponents' blue creatures to their hand. They can't play blue creatures. Washout is a bounce spell. Evacuation returns
both of those.
Yeah, Evacuation is really good on end of turn as well because you can replay your creatures. It just returns all creatures at instant speed. Engulf the Shore, Whelming Wave, Cyclonic Rift is bonkers. Devastation Tide. Aether Spouts, Inundate returns all non-blue permanents. Crush of Tentacles, Coastal Breach, Distorting Wake, Pendril Miss is maybe one that we could talk about a little bit. So this is an enchantment that's 3 colorless and a blue, and during each player's upkeep, they have to pay 1 for every creature they control. And so what that is it kind of like slowly locks them down. If they want to do anything, advance their board, they're probably going to have to give up creatures. to some extent. And so,
but it's every player, so it affects you then too.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so where I play this is something where I'm like, it goes really well in a blue Voltron deck, like Ruhan of the
where you're just
Fomori.
only having 1 or 2 creatures
Yeah,
out.
and then you don't have to worry about it nearly as much. And then everybody else has to, like, they're not playing their creatures because they don't have, like, aren't able to pay for it. And then Cataract Leviathan's another option as well.
Which one is that?
I believe it returns all other non-land permanents to their hands, and I believe it has Unearth as well.
Oh, okay.
And it's like 7 and 8 mana and stuff like that.
Then we move into the last one, green, and green was really tough because there isn't really a removal.
It's also
spell.
not the last one, but
Well, no, green I guess is a color because then we have not colorless, but
oh, you got me there.
Whip Chung Hydra is the one we kind of discussed that we wanted to actually talk about, and that one's from the new Commander set from last year. It's 5 and a green, 4/4, has reach. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all creatures with flying, and then you put a 1/1 counter on it for each creature that was destroyed this way. So that's the thing about green is it has a lot of destroy
the
flyers.
wraths suck.
Yeah.
Like it's basically destroy all flying or deal damage to flying creatures, and then there's Azuri's Predation. That's about it. But like Whip Tongue Hydra seems like a really cool spot. Like I wonder if there's a way. Like I think there's an artifact where you can pay 2 and give a creature flying, so you could potentially just, if you have a ton of mana,
you're paying 6.
Give all the big creatures that you don't want around flying. Play the Hydra. Destroy them all, but that's pretty small chances right there.
Yeah, but so, the other one that you just mentioned,
Azuri's Predation, we've talked about this one a bunch
multiple times because it's in my Tolsimir deck, and Larry played it when we were in the gameplay.
Yeah, so when you cast it, it's 8 mana. You put a 4/4 beast token into play for each opponent's creatures, and then they fight, and it just gives you a huge board presence.
Most likely, you kill
getting rid of a ton of creatures.
90% of creatures out there. So that's Green's Wrath, pretty much.
For sure.
But we had talked about it a bunch, so that's why I kind of picked
it's probably why
different.
It's worth more, too. It's like $4 or $5 at this point.
What were some other ones on Green that did you want to say?
So there's a legendary creature with Channel, I believe it is, Arashi. There's Hurricane, Tangle, Whirlwind, Silk Lash Spider, and that's about it.
Whoa, Green, settle down.
And green's still technically the best color.
Yeah,
like
doesn't need the wraths because it's
they have the worst counter spells, the worst wraths.
Yeah,
like choices, and it's interesting. So, so we're gonna move on to artifact and multicolored spells.
So aligned Hedron network or Hedron. It's 4 an artifact. Well, I just said that. No, I didn't say it was an artifact, but Larry said it was going to be an artifact, so that's where we
Probably.
are. When it enters the battlefield, exile all creatures with power 5 or greater until this leaves the battlefield. So it's going to hit all the big guys.
Yeah, and if
big threats.
It's that one-sidedness that you can really work to your advantage with, like putting it in Arcades or a Duran deck or a small token deck. Duran. I don't really know their songs.
I know. It's like you just sang Duran. Just by saying their name twice, and then the last word you're saying it in like a singing tone.
I know they do music. That's about it.
Duran. Yeah, it's interesting, but there's some.
And if it goes away, then the creatures do come back.
But there's some other interesting ones that artifacts actually have not quite a few, but I mean, they have some interesting ways of wrathing because they come in and they're permanent, so it's a little more different than everything else. Is more of like a spell that comes in and just does their thing. But
another thing that I wouldn't mind talking about a little bit is Perilous Vault, which is something I picked up when Trombley started playing Sliver Hivelord.
What is Perilous Vault? I actually don't know that.
So it's 4 colorless for an artifact, and then you can pay 5, tap it, exile all non-land permanents from the game and itself. So with Hivelord giving everything indestructible, it's like, well, I got to get rid of all of it. Mm-hmm. And so, it goes in a ton of decks.
The disc, what's it?
The Veneral's disc.
that one is used a lot, so that's why we didn't really start with talking about it. That's the most used probably out of all this for
artifacts.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about Navineral's disc is you don't destroy planeswalkers. You destroy every non-land permanent.
Because planeswalkers didn't exist when that card came out.
So they specifically state creatures, enchantments, artifacts. And so that's pretty cool. Some other ones are like Oblivion Stone, Malfagor, Plague Boiler, Din of the Fire Herd, Vile Consumption, Rakdos the Showstopper, Last One Standing, Noetic Scales, Soulquake, Boompile, Coercive Portal, and Navineral's Disc. So that's a lot of wraths.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options out there.
Kill them all.
Touch my leg.
Okay, kill him.
Kill them.
I'll make the full list available underneath in the show notes, and I'll the ones we went into depth with, I'll link them.
Well, yeah, that'll be perfect. Perfect. Should we move into Smith specs?
Thanks, Adam.
Smith specs of the week, guys.
Nice list, Larry.
We already started Smith specs a while ago.
Why don't we just start with my last one, because originally Larry was going to go first. So, Winds of Abandon. I actually put this on my list because when we were going through it,
because he's reading my mind.
yeah. We were going through it. I was just like, I couldn't believe that this is at $2 because this is, and you saw how long we broke that down. That was probably one of the longer ones that we broke down. It's just an awesome Wrath for white, where this is probably going to be my number one Wrath card, I think. I mean,
I think it's sitting at $2 right now. I think that easily doubles. It's easily a $4 card, if not more.
The fact that it's it's not in a standard set, so this, I mean, you still have a big printing, but it's not your normal standard printing.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be, and it is a rare slot card. I would want to get the foils, but I want the foils to drop down to like maybe $7.
And I don't know if they will. Like
they're at 10 right now. So
a thing that I would kind of look at this is like, I think good comparisons of it's a double the price of Battle Bond, but it's going to be printed similar to it. And so a lot of unique cards to Battle Bond were really expensive foils. That's kind of what you have going on here too, I think. You're just not going to get the distribution that you have of a standard set or a widely released one.
But go out and pick these up. I think you have, like, it kind of will follow the same thing with standard a little bit, or the next couple months. So probably this will be cheap-ish, but if Commander players start picking this up early, and this is one where I say, I think all my picks this week are non-foils. Yeah, they are all non-foils. Because they're all my picks... Spoiler alert, are Modern Horizon cards, just kind of the ones that I feel like are underpriced that you could pick up in the next couple months.
Ones that when you cracked them from your 12 boxes, you're not necessarily selling
Exactly. That's kind of why I did that. I was like, this card I don't want to put out yet because I think that these are going to go up. They might come down a little bit, but they're eventually in the next 6 months or so, they're going to pop back up. So this one might be a little bit longer because it might take Commander players a little bit to realize... Because it's not going to be used in Modern Horizons or Modern as much, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Because it's 6 by turn 6. You're not
maybe in a control deck, but
I mean, it does have the tap 2 and exiling a creature. That's kind of nice.
Nobody's going to play that.
It's not at instant speed, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it just can't compete with Path to Exile.
Yeah, but that's where I was saying that Commander players jumping on this, it might take a little bit, but I know that I will be replacing any Wrath that I have in my white decks probably with this card, because this could be game winner in the end. So even though we discussed it before and Larry ruined it,
I'm pretty sure I made it better.
So Larry's first card, Into the North. Go ahead. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
I think at some point this card should be something you pick up.
Into the North is a colorless and a green sorcery. Search your library for a snow land and put it into play tapped, then shuffle your library. I think this is kind of like it's a common from Cold Snap, but the reason why, like,
why don't you get into your second spec?
Yeah,
too?
I can get right into the second spec too. So there are these kind of dual lands from Cold Snap as well. So like Arctic Flats, which is a snow land, comes into play tap, but it'll give you a green or a white.
So they did all the friendlies for the duels of this?
Yeah. And so you have black, blue, red, black, red, green, blue, white, and the green, white here that I'm talking about. So they they're all snowlands, and it's kind of giving you duels. Right now, you know that Farseek is like $1.50. This card's 50 cents right now.
And if you check out the foils are at 20.
Yeah,
so they
foils
had a
are
big
20.
jump.
There's a lot more. I think this will balance out. Again, I don't think it's going to go crazy, but I can see it getting to $3 from 50 cents if more and more player. I kind of heard that there's like a 4-color pile snow permanent deck out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
and so
have you been hearing there's been whispers of maybe throwing snow in standard potentially coming up?
I don't know if I've heard that, but
a
lot of people are like, get snow dual lands, like, and just have
I've
snow
actually been
permanent
hearing that. It actually, I think it was the Fast Finance guys. I think they talked about it where they're saying one of their theories, I don't know if they got it from somebody else, but what they were saying is that they're putting these snow things in because they don't want it to be in standard. So then they'll release things that are not as powerful snow stuff in standard. So I don't know. They had talked about snow being in this before the snow, but they have their little connections. So.
I mean, maybe. I don't see it in the next year. For me, my money is on artifact heavy in the next year.
Because of the Tezzeret thing and...
Well, Tezzeret, Karn,
Yeah.
Ugin, that all enables artifact stuff. And then you also have a couple of uncommons that deal with a bunch of artifacts and enchantments. Like, it feels like there's too much setup in standard cards.
It is weird that we don't even know what the next set besides the core set is, you know? Normally you kind of know what it is. Surprise. All right. Well, you just did 2 of yours. So, okay.
I'm cool.
So my next one, and I just think this is really underpriced, but it's Hall of... What is it? Heliod's Generosity. And this is that legendary land from Modern Horizons. It taps 4 colorless, or you can tap 1 colorless and a white, put target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library. So the one that's like it is the Academy Ruins, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah, and
that's the artifact
black
one.
version of this that puts creatures on top.
Yeah.
Volrath Stronghold. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Possibly right.
Yeah, but this is at $5 right now, and compared to its, like Larry was saying too about the foils. I mean, the foils are at $25. I'm more focused on the non-foils. If you can get the foils below 20, then I might jump on those. But right now, I think this has a potential of $15 to $20 in the next year or so.
Yeah, there are specific decks in Commander where this just is an auto include, you know, like Bruna or Daxos or just anything where you're going to have a bunch of auras.
Yeah.
Or like my Kesha deck, this went right in.
And that's the thing about Commander is lands are one of your most important utilities to use in your decks because there's something you need to bring stuff out. And even if you're just playing maybe it doesn't have to be an enchantment based deck, but if you're playing like 10 enchantments, this is probably a good, easy add if you're in white or whatever. It's like, well, if they destroy my enchantments and I happen to have this out, I can have a way to bring it back. But it will go into your freaking any of the decks that you're using a ton of that. Yeah.
And man, I was just thinking like it'd be sweet to be able to use this with like Aura of Silence, the one where it like makes them pay 2 more for artifacts and enchantments. Then you can sacrifice to destroy it.
Oh yeah,
and then you put it back on play and then destroy another thing. Just repeatable destruction.
Destruction.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, your last one because you did 2 in a row. So
I'm gonna end up going with Jade Light Ranger, which is from Rivals of Ixalan. But foil, which is at $6.50 right now, and I think it'll keep on going down.
But foils don't bottom out, especially if they're used
as hard. This was a $10 card while it was in standard. It's still in standard.
$10 non-foil.
Yeah, non-foil, and they reprinted the non-foil in the Clash decks or whatever the fuck they are called. And so they really put a lot more inventory out there for the non-foil, and to whereas I think the foil version of it will hold a lot better because it was a really solid card, and I've fit mine into my Muldrotha deck because it can put cards into my graveyard while still putting a board presence there.
Yeah. Well, if you pop 2 land off of that, that's pretty freaking
yeah.
sweet.
Also, getting lands off the top of your deck is pretty good.
Yeah.
Being like it has 2 ETB triggers. Think about this with Panharmonicon.
Oh man, looking at 4 basically.
Yeah.
Just...
explore. You can turn it into like a 6/5.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a pretty nuts card. At $6.50, man, I'm gonna have to pick up some foils at some point here.
And the other reason I was thinking it was because the non-foils I bought 4 of those down at like $2. And I was going to use that, but they're almost up to 4. And I'm like, whoa, there's recovery there. And that probably still is standard, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, and then my last one is the Horizon lands for Modern Horizons. So each one of those, right now you have it ranging from $13 up to $20. If you kind of take a look at, what is it, the Horizon Canopy, that's at, the lowest it got was 30, and then now it's back up to 60 or whatever it's at. These potentially could get over that. I think you're looking at a year from now that these are up around 40, 60, if not higher for some of these.
Yeah, it just depends on where it's going to end up being used because like Horizon Canopy is definitely like a Modern All-Star in the Boggles deck because they only need 3 land. And then they're in green and white and they're just like, well, we don't need it. For like a commander player, like I probably don't care about them if they are blue, but if they're non-blue, I'm maybe a little bit more interesting because they're pretty similar to like just a cycling land.
Yeah.
But I think they're usable in commander. And I think if you can find like the green-blue one might go up because there are Boggle decks that are green, blue, white. And so there could be a mixture or a replacement effect of Horizon Canopy because you don't need it.
Yeah, and
so
we kind of had a discussion beforehand. This was close to being on our list for the top 10.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to figure out if I was going to use this because I like to use it has pay 1 life. No matter what, if you're going to tap it for mana, you have to pay a life, which whatever. I always like that option of like the talismans where you can pay a colorless if you need that, but if you need the color, you have the option of doing that. And so I was trying to decide if I was going to put this index, if it was going to take the places of, if I'm playing 2 colors, this might sneak in there. But if I get to 3 colors,
I don't think
it's
this
not
makes
going to
it
get in
3
there.
colors.
But the draw effect of it is really nice, and I think the reason why that these will go up is partially commander, but more so what you were saying, modern decks pulling on it.
If there's a modern deck that's run, like the red-blue one, if you're in like a really low tempo deck with like Delver's Secrets, and like you're able to just Lightning Bolt and Snapcaster Mage, then you can just cycle away those extra lands. But you're still on par. It's not coming into play tapped, and I can see that deck doing really well with it. So
yeah, it depends on what happens in the long run. This will be picked up by commander players.
Yeah,
but in the
Silent
near
Clearing sitting at like $13-14, like that feels like a really good price.
And so I just think the ones that'll go up faster is going to be Modern Drive, and then eventually I think all of these get over $40 if they don't get reprinted.
Correct. Also correct.
But I think they're going to eventually finish the other side with Horizon Canopy as well, I would think. They like to do that. They like to even it out at some point.
Possibly. Oh.
So, all right. That should do it for all our segments. So
the entire show?
You guys can check us out on Twitter.
At CommanderSmiths.
You can follow us on YouTube. Not follow. You can subscribe to us on YouTube.
At CommanderSmiths.
And let's see here. Gmail.
At CommanderSmiths.
And Patreon.
At CommanderSmiths.
There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Okay. So do we know what's next week? No, we haven't discussed it.
Well, we'll definitely be talking about spoilers of some sort, at least.
Yeah, there'll be a lot more.
We got to figure out how we want to do that. We're talking about changing that format. I don't know if it will change or not.
It's just
because it's so fun to talk about cards.
That's the hard thing is when we do if we do the whole show of spoilers, it's a 2-hour long episode.
Yeah, which I don't have a problem with.
But the other thing is we don't know, if people want to hear what cards are out that week or if they just want to hear it all at once, a breakdown of it, as one big episode. So that's what we're trying to figure that out.
So if you want to email us,
say what you like
what
best.
you like, what you would like us to do is like a normal show, and then just save a show for an entire spoiler talking
show.
section. If you have preferences, let us know. We would really appreciate the 2 or 3 people that interact with us on a normal basis to chime in on
it's
this.
like 2 or 3, and then it mixes to a different 2 or 3, and then it's never like all the people at once. It's just we got the different ones interacting.
I know. Well, I don't know what I would be able to do with like 8 people talking to us,
Yeah,
so it's tough.
We have to like turn this into a job or something like that. All right, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
All right, talk to you later.
See ya.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Talk to you in a nice, sexy voice, my loud voice.
So bad.